We'll see if this bivy sack and the little survival shelter that I've put together holds up and, well, keeps me alive.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Or, I should probably say, I'm back, because I'm the only one here on this one. But it never fails. You go out on a hike, the weather's gorgeous, you're taking pictures of nature, it's grand, and something goes awry. Maybe it decides to rain on you like it has decided to do on me. Or maybe you took a right on the trail when you should have taken a left. Maybe you decide to be extra adventurous and go off trail, and now you got yourself all turned around. The point, though, is that I'm out here to test my very own day bag, or some might call it a 24-hour bag. The point of it is to keep you alive for at least 24 hours when you're in that sticky situation. Whether you put yourself there, or Mother Nature, or some sort of disaster. It gets you home, even though you only just took a hike. So, join me as I test out my day bag for the very first time. Well, here's my home so far. Hold on. There we go. Got the old hammock set up, my first hammock. Probably definitely going to get a better one. I tried to save weight with this one, but I mean, it was getting stuck on branches, and finding the right trees was a whole lot more difficult than my other hammock, so definitely going to look into that. I have the skate bivy here. Hopefully it'll keep me warm. Plenty of cordage. With my donut there. And then I don't have a tarp. And even though the bivy is waterproof, it might be nice something on my head. So I got a trash bag though, which always good to have a trash bag. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna make that into some sort of cover over top of me. Did I get wet again? Jeez, I'm sorry. Well, it may look a little bit better now. Got the trash bag kind of where I want it, but more importantly trying to secure it down right now. So luckily there's lots of these acorns. So what I'm just doing is just using that as kind of like a button here. You can see I got my paracord donut. Nice thing about that, shown you before when I did the bear bag, you just pull and you got rope. I'm just gonna do a little clove hitch action right here and get this tied up so it looks pretty, sort of. I don't know if you can really consider this pretty. I'll take this down. I'm going to anchor it just using sticks. Hot sticks. And here she be. My home away from home. My day bag shelter. See inside there. I got the baby sack just sitting there right now. Haven't taken it out yet. Probably going to regret that now that I have the rain fly over top. But also you might notice this piece of cordage. Yep, ladies and gentlemen, I still have it from season 1 and still putting it to good use. Speaking of cordage, hindsight, kind of wish I might have just done one long string of my paracord and gutted it and then used the innards to do all these tie downs for the rainfly. But again, it's 2020, something maybe experiment next time. Obviously I'm going to be saving them, so I got them. Now I should probably show you what's in my day bag. Alright, so this is everything that's in my day bag. You've already seen the trash bag, the hammock, and the bivy sack. I put all that together with this cordage. Got tons of paracord, tons of uses, have a nice little donut configuration, keeps it nice and organized. Wool cap, even during the summer, always have a wool cap. You never know when it's going to get cold, and to be honest with you, I don't like being cold. A schmog helps keep you warm when it's cold. Get it wet, will keep you cool when it's hot. Keep the dust out of your face, sun out of your eyes, sun off your skin. Just tons of uses for a schmog. Work gloves. You're going to have this bag with you hopefully every day. And you never know if you got to help a buddy move or do some gardening or something like that. I mean, to be honest with you, your hands are so important to you in your survival because that's how you make things happen. Work gloves protect your hands. Sterno. Guaranteed 2 hours of flame. Keep it simple, keep it easy. Single MRE. And you might notice that my MRE looks a bit different than the standard one. That's because I minimized it. And if you want to know how I did that, check out the link that's going to be popping up in the corner for the Pioneer Prep on how you can minimize your MREs, because it's a whole lot smaller than they usually are. Alright, first aid kit. Got chock full of lots of goodies in here. Gauze, gloves, antibacterial, Tylenol, anti-inflammatories. Very important. Again, you're going to have this bag with you every day. You never know when you might need a little bit of first aid. Knife. My Grail. This is a canteen and water purifying device. I'll show you more about that later when I gotta get some water. Always have some sort of energy bar in my bag. And then out here, in the outside pocket, got a chem light, multi-tool, lighter. As a backup, got a ferro rod, a Sharpie, regular pen, and a flashlight. And then finally, a lockpick set. Don't ask. Well, as you can probably tell by my garb, it's gotten cooler. And I've gotten hungry. So, while I'm here in my little primitive shelter here, keeping me alive, want to have me some food. And I got some extra duct tape right here, so I think I'm going to stick that right over here, because that could be used to seal this up if I get any rips in the night. Key thing about this MRE, other than that I minimized it, still got the heating pad. Don't need a fire. And I might be sticking this by my side come tonight. So I'm gonna get something to eat right now. Alright, well, food is almost done. Definitely been enjoying the heating element, keeping it really simple, not having to build a fire and cook this all up. Because, I mean, there's very limited space here and all the material around here is pretty soaked. So, definitely something to consider. But the rest of my gear, I believe I already mentioned about the hammock, but I will reiterate that I will definitely be getting a different hammock. I tried to save weight with this net hammock, but it was grabbing sticks and twigs. I was trying to set it up. It grabs your pockets and buttons while you're trying to get in and out. It's just a pain. And it's not going to block the wind. And I know I'm going to be feeling that later. The trash bag, it's working. It's doing great. It took a while to set up though. And I really believe that a more substantial rain cover is in order. Something still lightweight, versatile, but more than a trash bag. Other than that, feeling pretty good. Haven't undone the bib sack yet. Definitely will be doing that in a bit after I eat. Didn't want to get anything on it. Hopefully that'll keep me warm. Oh, and unfortunately did not pack an eating utensil. So I think I'll just be nicking the corners off of these packets and squirting it in my mouth. Keeping it very classy on this bug out adventure. Well, there's a bivy sack, and obviously I am in it. And I will show it to you tomorrow in the light so I can show the features, what's made of, things like that. Using the light that I brought with me, I can talk to you. And I am going to say that I am glad that it rained. I am. Because it put me through my paces, it put my day bag through its paces, and made me use skills and techniques to make a shelter out of very limited material. And all along the way, educating me. Because I'll be honest, I am going to be making some changes on what I put in my day bag for the future. That being said, 24 hours is not up yet. And without a pad, without an underquilt, convection is going to be a big contender tonight. So, we'll see if this bivy sack and the little survival shelter that I've put together holds up and, well, keeps me alive. So, till tomorrow, good night. Day 2. Got my little sterno going right there to help warm up the feet and hands. Because it got cold last night. It did. Dropped down to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The bivy sack, I believe, is only rated to about 52. So luckily I had some more layers that I could put on. But still, made for a very uncomfortable night. I don't believe I got any sleep. But I survived. So far, the day bag is doing alright. You're surviving. Not exactly thriving. But you're surviving. So I'm just going to warm up. And then, we got to figure a way out of here. You've hiked, you've gotten lost or stranded or stuck. You survived the night, but now you gotta get home. So, we will go over that as well. Well, we don't have to be uncivilized. Using the sterno to heat up this brownie. have a little bit of warm breakfast. There's the one nice thing about MREs. Usually there's so much food in them, there's always something left over. Alright. So while eating, I realized that last night I did not do a conflicted card. And I apologize. Just got caught up in the rain and building the survival shelter. But worry not, because we're going to do it right now. And the conflicted card reads as such. Your bug out location is far off the beaten path, but you feel you need to put something as a barrier to keep people from coming down that path. There aren't enough materials to build a physical barrier, so it's going to have to be psychological. One that would stop the people right in their tracks and make them go the other way. What kind of psychological barrier would you build, and how would it be effective? I would build a multi-tier psychological barrier, if you will. Something that attacks all the senses. Wind chimes and noisemakers up in the trees, so when the wind blows, eerie sounds are created. Maybe any of the entrails that I'm not using for bait or whatever from the animals I've killed, maybe have them somewhere in a pit. Attack the smell. Smell of death. Smell of death. Scarecrows. Animal skulls on top of stick figure bodies, up in the trees, coming out of the ground. And then, if you got it, heads on pikes. Human heads on pikes. Human bodies swinging from the trees, hung or maybe impaled on a branch. All the people that didn't heed the warning. That's what I would do. And how would that be effective? Well, I don't know about you, but you hear some weird noises. You see some weird stuff. Scarecrows, cult-looking stuff. Smell of death in the air. Heads on pikes. I think I would turn away. And if they didn't, well, I would just add them to the barrier until that barrier becomes foolproof. I'd also change it up, move stuff around, make sure if someone is scouting the place, they don't get used to it, you know? But a full-on attacking the senses psychological barrier. That's what I'd do, and I think it'd be pretty effective. But since I'm the only one here, now I want to know what you would do. What type of psychological barrier would you build? I mean, even just sitting here, more ideas are popping in my head, but I'm not going to give them to you because you need to write them down in the comments down below. As you know, I enjoy reading them, and maybe you'll give me some ideas. On with the day. About to pack up, and a couple things I want to show you before I did. Obviously the biv sack in the daylight. What it looks like on the outside. What it looks like on the inside. Very thin. It did a pretty good job keeping me warm, even though the temperature did drop below its rating. But another thing I want to show you is this right here. I didn't bring any tree straps because I'm trying to save as much weight as possible in my bag. So I put these sticks all the way around the tree to disperse the tension of this rope on the tree. This way you're not garroting the tree and damaging the bark. And I have read that you can actually kill trees by doing this. So between doing the sticks, only being here for 24 hours, shouldn't cause any damage. So you're saving weight and you're saving nature. Both two pluses. Now, I need to find some water. I need to find my way out of here. So let's do that. Well, even when we're just doing a day bag, we leave no trace. On my way to find this location, so I took a little bit of time, passed by a stream, so I know where that is. Since I'm headed to the water, I thought this would be a good time to talk about why you should have a day bag with you. Some people might think it might be a lot to have with them all the time. But ask yourself this. How many times have you needed Tylenol or ibuprofen? You had to ask a friend if they had any, or maybe you had to buy some. How many times have you gotten a cut, scrape, sprain, bug bite, and didn't have a first aid kit around? Maybe you had to cut something or tighten up a loose screw or use a pair of pliers on something. How many times have you been thirsty? Didn't have any water. Or perhaps the weather has changed on you and you need some rain gear or a wool hat to keep you a little bit warmer, gloves to protect your hands. Ask yourself all those. Because that's all the stuff that's in a day bag. And it's not just limited to when you go out on a hike or adventure. Heck, if you think about it, each day is an adventure. And that's where the day bag comes into play. Your day bag is like your best friend that always has your back. You may not have noticed, but I had my bladder with me. I figured I'm going on a hike, and usually when I go on a hike, I take my bladder with me. Now this is my MSR dromedary bladder, and more than likely you've seen it in a bunch of the Bug Out Boys episodes. But if you want my review on it, check out the link that's going to be popping up to get a more in-depth review of this particular bladder and what I think about it. Now moving past that, I only put enough water in it for maybe a half a day. Short hike, not 24 hours. So it is bone dry. So that means it's time to give the Grail a try. Well, the way this works, pull it apart, take the outer sleeve, fill with a good amount of water, take this one, and you just push it on down. Go. Now, you got a whole bunch of water to drink. Now that we've got some water, it's time to get out of here. And believe it or not, I don't have a compass, and I'll rectify that. Maybe get a little button compass. A cheap compass is better than no compass. But even so, if you're lost, a compass is only going to point to north, not necessarily your salvation. Luckily, we got some pretty good options right around us, right here. So behind me, patch of sunlight. I can see the sun clear as day. And it's early in the morning, I know, because I didn't sleep. That's east, that's west, north, south. I got my bearings for now. The stream, we can follow it upstream or downstream. More than likely I would opt for down because it's probably going to flow into a bigger body of water. Means people, civilization, home. you don't like those options, get to a higher vantage point. See if you can find yourself a radio tower, cell tower, anything that's man-made that sticks up high so you can keep your eye on it. Go to that, maybe you'll bump into a road, or you'll bump into that object which will more than likely have a road going to it, and you'll get home. Finally, you're on a hike. So more than likely people have been around here, so look for signs of people. Right over there is a stack of rocks. I didn't do that. It's a little cairn. So that's good. And then behind that, in the distance, is a green pipe of some sort. I don't know what it's for, but man-made objects, signs of people. So with all those options, all those clues, I'm in a pretty good area already. And I'm pretty sure I can get out of here, which I would opt for. If you can self-rescue, I would go that route. First of all, it's 72 hours before someone can actually put in a missing persons report. That's a long time to wait out here, especially when you only brought 24 hours worth of food. And getting rescued isn't cheap. If you can self-rescue, I'd go that route. If I mentioned the importance of layers, because when I started this venture, I was in a flannel shirt, unbuttoned, t-shirt, underneath, untucked, bandana, went to rain jacket for the rain, then had to put on the schmog and the watch cap for the nighttime, and now hiking down the stream in the sun, I got my sunglasses on, I'm back down to just the flannel shirt and unbuttoning as I go. But if you don't believe me on that, you might want to watch The Bot, Layers to Live By. Link will be up in that corner very shortly, where I go in a little bit more in depth of why layering is so important. It'll keep you alive. Speaking of alive, that looks like a man-made object to me. Yep, that's a man-made object if I ever seen one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that I am on my way to being rescued, to getting back home, I hope you enjoyed this adventure. I hope I was able to show you the importance of a day bag. Not just for those extreme circumstances where you get lost hiking or car breaks down, but just to have with you every day. I also hope I was able to show you the trials and tribulations of it. Maybe how you can make yours better than mine, because I know I'm going to be improving mine for my next test. And it was pretty nice to rough it again, you know, use some techniques that I haven't used in a while and try out some new ideas. And, as always, we will see you later. All I need is a car. There comes one. Maybe I can hitch my way home. Or not.